Hey toy fans, Aaron here. Today taking a look at the Imperial Troop Transport from The Mandalorian released in the Vintage Collection line. And here's a look at that packaging. Top center, you got that Star Wars Mandalorian logo. You got a great image being shown on the front of the packaging. First off, in the background, it's got to be the Vintage Collection TIE Fighter, because of course the wings are falling off of it. But really, it does look nice having a crashed TIE Fighter in the background. And then of course you do see the troop transport loaded to the brim with a bunch of remnant stormtroopers. Bottom left corner is the vehicle once again, this time just showing off that the door opens up. Maybe really the idea is just to show you what you're actually getting and not having it filled with stormtroopers. Anyways though, left side of the packaging shows off a couple features that you got a cannon on top that rotates and that the cannons pivot up and down. Along with an image below that showing you have a little canopy that opens up, and of course you can stick some stormtroopers off on the sides. Right side of the box highlighting more stormtroopers being placed off on the sides of the vehicle, and that the whole top of the vehicle opens up and you can seat stormtroopers on the inside. And then the next image shows off that the back side opens up. You can have some stormtroopers running out of there. Top side showing off that both doors do indeed open up. You can fit some stormtroopers in there. Bottom side, legal information, and pretty much showing you the same image that you have on the front. And then on the back side, everything looking the same as the front, except this time you're getting a Star Wars Vintage Collection logo in the upper right corner and just a change of legal information on the bottom right corner. Sliding it out of the packaging, only thing you really have to assemble, if you want to call it that, is you just place the cannon right here on top. Just slots into this peg, no big deal. And here it is now, all assembled, ready to go. And it really is a stunning vehicle to look at. Now the vehicle is 14 inches deep and 6 inches wide, so it's got a pretty decent size to it, and just for fun, it's really not fair to have this comparison, but here it is alongside the Rebels release of the Imperial Troop Transport. Obviously two different vehicles, two different times in the timeline of the Star Wars universe, but also two very different vehicles in terms of when it was released in the Star Wars line. For that Rebels line, they were going for the smaller budget scale vehicles, and now for the Vintage Collection, they've gone past that, but in case you're wondering, I just wanted to show how that looked. Focusing back on this release, overall simple design and pretty much what you want to see. A lot of panel detailing, especially through the front, throughout the sides, top, everywhere. And then along with that panel detailing, as you can certainly tell, you have a lot of weathering being applied to this vehicle. Just front to back, top to bottom, it's all over. And it looks beautiful. Through various spots on the vehicle, you have some extra grime being painted in, just under handles. Some carbon scoring here and there on the vehicle, so it definitely looks like it's been used in the world for quite some time. My one complaint about the weathering is that the coloring just isn't consistent overall. For the top of the vehicle, you're getting a much lighter application. And then more towards the front on top and then down the middle part, kind of getting a reddish rust color to it, whereas the rest of the vehicle is just a dark brown wash. I don't mind so much the two different colors on front, but I do wish the top was done in a heavier wash, but that is just a minor gripe. As I said, really, to me at least, overall, this just looks really stunning. Some highlight features of the front externally before we start to take a look inside the vehicle. You have this open slot running across the sides through the front. We'll call that the window. No plastic there or anything. It's open-aired. Just below that on each side of the vehicle, you have some tiny cannons sticking out. You have no functionality here with those. Nothing springs out. You're not able to move them. There's no articulation with them. Just towards the back of the door on each side of the vehicle, you got your Empire symbol, along with a little red stripe painted in there. Heading on now to the sides of the vehicle, where each of these little pods are pretty much a mirrored image in terms of the sculpting as how they look on the other side of the vehicle. You're going to have some differences in your application of the scoring marks and the weathering that's been applied. Certainly, as you saw in the box, no problem standing a stormtrooper in each one of these little pods. And to note, the front pod on each side does open up. The door just swings open. You can swing it back closed, but unfortunately, those are the only two doors that open up for these pods. Getting towards the back of the vehicle, you got this little vent or something sculpted in on the sides. Pretty nice detailing to that. And then you have the back door itself. Panel detailing, lots of good weathering and some scoring marks. Do give that a squeeze and you can open that up. Here's a little closer look at the top of the vehicle. As I already mentioned through a lot of this, panel detailing is making up most of it. Do have some hints of some mechanical features being sculpted in. And then you got the canopy that does open up. And as I mentioned, the turret that you can swing around a full 360. And the cannons that do pivot up and down. Along the bottom of the vehicle, you got some great sculpting going on here also. You have functioning wheels on the vehicle. So you have a single wheel on the front of the vehicle. Here's a look at the rest of the bottom where you have some various grates and stuff sculpted in where the stormtroopers would be sitting above it or the feet would be. And then getting towards the back side is your other two functioning wheels. So you got 3 total. For the most part, it rolls well. If you give it a little hard push, it will roll farther on its own. Let's take a look at the interior, where, as I mentioned, the doors on each side do open up. The inside panels of each door are sculpted out in the same way. You got some great detailing being done with that sculpt and some weathering to go along with it. The stickers that you're seeing are pre-applied from the factory. Nice designs printed on there. As for the rest of the interior, it's done in that metallic gray color. I know you're probably not able to see in there too well, but I do feel like things are looking good. Panel detailing, some knobs, other various things sculpted in there. You do have a bit of weathering being done for the gray interior. Each pilot seat does have a steering console to go along with it, and that's ball jointed into the floor. So you do have some good articulation for that console. You can move it forward, back, side, spin it around. Sorry, with my big hands, you just can't see much of that happening, but I think you can still get the idea. Aside from that weathering, you have a couple sticker decals being placed in there, once again from the factory. Nice graphic design to each of those. You have a sticker on the display of each driver's console, and then another set being done on the top of the dashboard. Removing that top panel, of course, shows off the interior of the crew compartment. And aside from that, at the very front, you're going to reveal some more mechanical detailing in there. Some various vents and pipes being sculpted in. And then for the interior of that crew compartment, 6 seats, 3 on each side. And for some reason, only 2 on each side fold down. That farthest back one on each side, for whatever reason, they did not sculpt to allow the seat to fold down. But for the ones that do function, certainly no problem getting your Stormtrooper to sit on there. Everything is scaled properly so that he sits well. Towards the very front of that crew compartment, you got a weapons rack sculpted in. So that's nice. It gives you a place to hold some blasters. Otherwise, your detailing in there is just a lot of panels, a lot of great detailing. Kind of that basket weave pattern being done here and there on the floor. And similar to what we had in the front, you're also getting just an ever so slight dirt wash being applied to the gray interior. It's very subtle, but I think it works well. So overall for me, I really think they knocked it out of the park with this release. I think it matches up well with what we saw in the show, and it fits in well with what they're doing now in the Vintage Collection line. So from vehicle to vehicle, even though we're spanning different movies, I think they're still maintaining a consistent look with what they're doing on these releases. Giving you lots of detail, giving you a great dirt wash. Definitely make it look like the vehicle has been used for quite some time in the world. I do wish some of the functions weren't so limited, such as only having the front pods that have the doors opening up and leaving the other 4 closed. Same with not having the back seats of the vehicle fold down. Is there really that much cost saving to not do those things? I don't know. I'm definitely not the right person to ask, but I do wish they were there. So that wraps this one up. Definitely let me know what your thoughts are on this vehicle in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.